5.5b, we'll go into finishing this problem that we started on page 406, example 6, and then we'll go into some problems. So, continue on with this. Diane, she had $1.60 in dimes and nickels. And to find out how many dimes and nickels, or what combination of the two we had, we need to realize that if we took the number of dimes times 10, we'd have how many dollars or cents or whatever we have in dimes. So let's say, for example, we had, again, 8 dimes, and times 10 cents, we have 0.8. So that would be, in dollars, 80 cents. If we had 4 nickels, and we took that times the value of a nickel, which is 0.05, 5 cents, the word cent means 100, so 5 out of 100. So 5 cents out of 100, or a nickel, we'd get 0.20, or 20 cents. And if we added those together, we would get the total amount of money we have. So that's why I set this up that way. So whenever you're dealing with coin problems, you're going to be doing that. The number of coins times the value of each one, and if you have several different types, you're going to add them together. Alright, that being the case, let's go ahead and erase this for right now. I'm going to need some board room. And let's just clear it off here. Alright, so we've got $1.60 in dimes and nickels. 7 more dimes than nickels. Okay, if you remember the story problems, I said, what do we know the least about? And that becomes your variable. So we know the least about nickels because she has 7 more dimes than nickels. At least we know something about the nickels, or something about the dimes. She has 7 more. So let's say N is our nickels. Our dimes then would be 7 more. Okay? So our number of nickels is N, our number of dimes is the number of nickels plus 7, or N plus 7. Alright, when we add those together, all we have is the number of coins we have. We don't have the value. So that's where we have to start putting the value. So we take 0.05, because that's a value of a nickel, times N, plus 0.10, which is the value of a dime, times how many dimes we have, N plus 7. And again, I'm not just multiplying the 0.1 times N. That's why I put this in parentheses. It's being multiplied by the entire thing. And when we take the value times the number plus the value times the number, we get $1.60 here. So we end up combining things. 0.05N plus 0.10N plus 0.70, because I distributed both numbers, equals 1.6. Then I start combining. 0.05 plus 0.10 is 0.15N plus 0.70 equals 1.6. Then I subtract my 0.70 from both sides. I'm trying to isolate that N. And that gives me 90.9. Those disappear, and I have 0.15N equals. Alright, let me erase some up here so that we can continue on. Let me rewrite that up here. 0.15N equals 0.9. Now I'm dividing both sides by 0.15. By 0.15, those go away. So N equals 90 divided by 0.15. And that is 6. Now we're not done yet, because if you look at the problem, it says how many of each coin does she have? Well, she has 6 nickels. How many dimes does she have? If you remember what we had before, she had the number of nickels plus 7. That was the number of dimes that she had. So if we take 6 plus 7, she has 13 dimes. Alright, so let's look at whether or not that's true. If she has 13 dimes, she has $1.30. If she has 6 nickels, she has 30 cents. And that equals $1.60. So we're good to go there. So these application problems are pretty tricky, and they're long and drawn out. Really focus on getting things neat on these in order for you to be able to make sense out of your work. Sometimes you start getting numbers all over the page and you forget what they're representing or why you're even putting them on there. So Let's go to some problem sets on page 409 and do a couple of those. Just look at some of the ones that are a little bit trickier. Numbers 1 through 24, not really too much different than what we've done. Let's look at 24 though. 0.11x plus 0.12 times the quantity. X plus 4,000 equals 940. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our distributive. 0.12 times x gives me 0.12x, and 4,000 times 0.12. Let's just go ahead and multiply that out so you can see where it comes from. Okay, multiply through 0, 0, 0, 8, and then 0 times 1, 0 times 1, 0 times 1, 4 times 1. So we get 0, 0, 0, 8, 4. And we went over our decimals. We look at that. We went over 2 to get to this point. So we go over 2 here. So our answer is 480. And that equals 940. Okay, we're done with that. So we can get rid of that. So combine like terms. Those are like terms. So 0.11 plus 0.12 is 0.23x plus 480 equals 940. And subtract 480 from both sides. And we get 0.23x equals 940 minus 480. 0 minus 0 is 0. 14 minus 8 is 6. 8 minus 4 is 4. Now we divide. Those cancel. And we have 460 divided by 0.23. And that gives us an answer of 2,000 when we actually do the math to find the answer there. So that should be the hardest one on lesson 5.61 to 24. Go over to the next page and we've got our applying the concepts. Numbers 27, 28, 29, 30 all have to do with car rentals, which we did. 31 to 34 have to do with coins. 37 and 38 also have to do with coins. So, done a lot of examples, or one example of each of those, so you shouldn't have too much trouble with 5.6 with that problem set. So we'll go ahead and shut off the video and let you give it a shot.